Hi, and welcome back. Today I want to jump right into the topic and talk to you about the top 5 things that will spike your insulin. And that's not a good thing, okay? There are multiple things that will spike your insulin level in your blood, but I want to talk about really the top 5 that you need to watch out for. But first, please do me a favor, share this on your social media. There are so many people out there with obesity and diabetes who really need this information, and you can help me get it to them. So just click the share button and then pick your social media, okay? Now, the top 5 things that will spike your insulin. Obviously, the number one is very obvious, and that's carbs, okay? Sugar, simple starches, any kind of carbohydrates, any grain, any corn, any processed food that comes in a cardboard box is probably going to spike your insulin, and you don't want to include that in your diet if you're trying to achieve any kind of meaningful nutritional ketosis, okay? Number 2 is too much protein, and this surprises a lot of people. They think protein's good, and a lot of people think if they're going to follow a low-carb diet, then that by definition means they're going to be eating a high-protein diet, and that's just not true. If you eat too much protein, you will spike your insulin level, and it'll take you out of intermittent fasting if you're trying to intermittently fast, and it'll also take you out of nutritional ketosis if you're trying to attain that. So keep in mind that we've been misled by many of the authorities in the world about how much protein we need on a daily basis. Your body needs essential amino acids, there's no doubt about that, but the total amount of protein is very often overestimated when the experts are trying to tell us how much protein we need a day. So watch out for too much protein. The next is things that sound very healthy, but they can spike your insulin. That's fruits, berries, and overcooked vegetables. So let's talk about each one. If you eat a raw apple, that apple has sugar in it. We all know that. It also has fiber in it, which slows down how quickly the sugar is released into your body. And so eating an apple is natural. It's healthy. It's good for you, but it's also going to spike your insulin level a little bit, okay? And that's why when you're trying to achieve nutritional ketosis, then you need to watch out for too much fruit. Even if it's raw, organic, fresh fruit, it's still going to spike your insulin because of the sugar contained in it. Berries are the same way. I love raspberries and blueberries, and I eat some often. But when I'm trying to achieve nutritional ketosis, I have to leave them off or it'll take me out of ketosis. Okay, now the last is overcooked vegetables. If you eat raw broccoli, the glycemic index of that is so low that it for many people, it won't even take them out of ketosis. And it's one of the low glycemic index vegetables that it's fine to eat if you're trying to stay in nutritional ketosis. But if you take that same broccoli and you cook it all day long on the stove like your grandmother used to, remember that mushy broccoli and those Brussels sprouts that were just like balls of mush? Basically, you've broken down all the fiber, and those things can actually turn into a starch if they're overcooked and spike your insulin level in your bloodstream. So don't overcook your vegetables. Try to eat them raw, lightly steamed, or lightly stir-fried so that they still have chew, if not crunch, okay? And the next one is too much bad stress. And I have to differentiate between good stress and bad stress because in the beginning, for most people, they don't get the difference. An example of bad stress would be working for a boss who hates you in a job that you hate and having to do that for 5 days a week and just being miserable and anxious and upset all the time. That's not good stress. That's going to actually spike your cortisol and your insulin levels and really mess up any health benefits you're trying to achieve by changing your diet. An example of good stress is trying to learn to juggle or trying to learn to play the piano or trying to learn a new sport or a new skill or a new hobby. Those, and playing pickup basketball with your friends is stressful to your body, but it's a good stress because it promotes rejuvenation, regeneration, and growth. It's good for your brain because you're laying down new neural pathways. That's good stress. And in my personal opinion, running long distances like half marathons and full marathons, that's break even or maybe even bad stress. That's just too much repetitive stress on your body. So watch out for bad stress and get it out of your life. I know from where you're at right now, that may sound impossible, but you can do that, okay? The final one And a lot of patients don't know this, and even a lot of doctors don't know this. But there was a study done that shows that not only is there an insulin response when you swallow sugars and starches and they get into your bloodstream, there's something called a cephalic insulin response. And here's how it works. They in this study, they took a group of people on the left and a group of people on the right. The group on the left had sugar water. The group on the right had saccharin water. Both taste sweet. One has calories and one has no calories at all. Now, they didn't make the participants of this study drink the fluids. They just swished them in their mouth for a set amount of time and then spit the liquid out. Okay, you got that? They didn't swallow it. So it didn't make it to their stomach. It didn't even make it to their bloodstream. It wasn't absorbed through the mucous membranes in their mouth, if you're thinking that. And that was a good thought if you were thinking that, but that's not how it works either. Those molecules are too big to be absorbed that way. But both groups had a spike in their insulin in their blood, even though they didn't swallow the sweet liquid. So the number 5 is you've got to watch out for things that taste sweet. Even if they're sugar-free, calorie-free, starch-free, carbohydrate-free, if they taste sweet and you drink too much of that, it's going to spike your insulin a little bit. And that can take you out of nutritional ketosis, and that can take you out of your fast if you're trying to fast. So here's 5 things that you need to know. Please take a minute and subscribe to this channel and click the little bell so that every time I have a bright idea, you'll be one of the first to know, okay? Thanks for watching.